social studies. All right, so are you all opened up to the books or to the pages I asked you to open?
Yeah.
What were the pages I asked you to open to? Owen.
147 and 77.
That's correct. All right, so understanding hemispheres. The equator is drawn around the middle of the globe, but not actually. Imaginary line. The equator divides Earth into two parts. Each part is called a hemisphere. Hemi means half. The half of Earth that is north of the equator is called the northern hemisphere. The half of the Earth that is south of the equator is called the southern hemisphere. The prime meridian runs north and south on the globe. It divides the western hemisphere from the eastern hemisphere. All right, so here is, which hemisphere is this up here? Here's the equator. What hemisphere is this? On top, the top part. Yes, Wenshing, northern. So this would be the southern. Here's the prime meridian, western hemisphere, eastern hemisphere. You see that? So let's go to 76 in your manual. What is the line drawn around the middle of the globe? What divides it in the middle? Grant, the equator. This is fancy. It's got all the globes actually split in half. All right, so we see where the globe is split in half. That would be where the equator would be. Split it in two different hemispheres. So the equator divides the Earth into the northern hemisphere and the what hemisphere? Christian? The southern hemisphere. Very good. And you can see by the picture where it is split in half. So, is the United States in the northern hemisphere or in the southern hemisphere? Is Wisconsin northern or southern hemisphere? Jonathan? Yes. Yes, it is. What, bless you, what does hemi mean? The first part of hemisphere. What does hemi mean? James? Yes. So on the left globe, the continent divided by the equator is, so on the left globe, which would be this one, you see that there is a continent that is actually divided by the equator. What is that? Look at your globe on the left-hand side, and there is a pink continent that is actually divided in half. Grant. South America. Very good. So you see on your left the same globe. You see North America and South America. North America is located in which hemisphere? Wenshing. Northern hemisphere. If you remember, if we had a little, not globe, oh my gosh, my compass, thank you, my brain was like, went blank. So if we had a compass, remember, just to help you visualize, north, south, west, and east. Remember, west and east, we spells west and east, so that you don't get them mixed up. We. All right. Now, we did the north and south hemisphere. What is it that divides the eastern hemisphere and the western hemisphere. What divides, so if you look on the bottom half now, we have another globe, some more globes. What is the line that divides the western hemisphere from the eastern hemisphere? If you need to look in your manual, please do. That little section explains it. Jonathan. Prime meridian. Oh. So here is I don't have a red marker anymore. Aw, so sad. So the equator is going to be blue. So remember, here's the equator, divides in half. Here is the prime meridian.
Ooh, purple. Ooh, purple.
So the equator does north and south. And the prime meridian divides, this line divides west and east. Okay, prime meridian breaks the western and eastern hemispheres in half. All right. Okay, we got that. In what directions does the prime meridian run on the globe? Now, it doesn't actually run. If it had a globe, if we did have a line, imaginary line, what direction does it run? North and south or west to east? What direction is that running? Tyson?
North to south.
North to south. West to east. You guys seeing that?
Yeah.
I need you all to star. I feel like you're all falling asleep on me. Asia. So find Asia on your map. Or not on your map, on your globe. It's on the last globe on the bottom. It's the big brown continent. So is Asia located in the what hemisphere? Now, if you look at the globes, there's something written at the bottom on each globe. Hint, hint. Jack.
East hemisphere?
Yes, the eastern hemisphere. So if you envision the prime meridian running right down the middle, that is going to be on the eastern hemisphere. It's located over here, so it's on the eastern region of the hemisphere. This is all eastern, this is western. Compare all the globes on this page. North America is located in the what hemisphere? So North America is located on the northern or southern hemisphere. Which one? North America. Owen.
Northern?
And the what hemisphere? So what, if the prime meridian, now find North America, and if you were to draw a line down the middle, you see the equator, but down the middle, that would be the prime meridian. Is it located in the western hemisphere or the eastern hemisphere? Jonathan.
Western?
That's right. Very good. Is that making sense?
Yes.
Okay. kind of fun. So let's turn the page in your manual and continue. We've got more globes split in half. So what I want you all to do is try to categorize what these are all saying. Write the name of the hemispheres where you live. Where do you live? North America, South America, Asia, Europe, Australia.
Australia?
What continent?
Yeah.
Antarctica. Ooh, no thank you. What hemisphere do we live in? Jeremiah.
Northern.
That's right, we do. All right, so what you're going to do is, so number 10 is pointing to Asia. You see that? Each number has a line that is going to a specific location on the globe. So you see number 10, what is that? Is that the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere? Helen? No, remember the equator breaks the northern and southern in half. Helen? Jack? Yes. So now number 11, what line is that pointing to? It's pointing to a specific little line that's going right down the middle of the globe. Blue line. This line. What line is that, Cole? Prime meridian. Spelled right there. All right, so now the globe on the right is split down the middle, indicating Western Hemisphere and Eastern Hemisphere. What is that line that is dividing the globes in half? North to south. That is what is that? Owen? The prime meridian. All right, so we can visualize west. We get rid of here and here. We're going to pretend the equator is not there. It disappeared. Shocking. So you can see it's divided in half, and we have the Western Hemisphere and we have the Eastern Hemisphere. See that? So, with that said, what is 12? Is that the Western Hemisphere or the Eastern Hemisphere? Cole?
Western.
Very good. Do this. Ooh, that's a bad circle. All right, so we're going to do another globe, and we're going to do this line. So we know this is the prime meridian. Bless you. What is this line? James?
Equator.
The equator. And that divides the north and the southern hemisphere. So anything up here is the northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere, eastern hemisphere, western hemisphere. So, what is 13? Is that the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere? First of all, in this globe, what is the line that's dividing the globe in half? Which line is that indicating? M. The equator. So, what is number 13? Which hemisphere are we talking about? Christian.
The
The southern. So, back over to the left. What is this line again? The dividing the northern and southern hemisphere? Ella, the equator. But actually, I'm sorry, that is here. You're correct. That's on the left. We're on the right now. So the line going north and south is what? What is this line? Quinsheen. Prime meridian. Equator. Prime meridian. Equator. So number 14. Oh, so they're kind of playing a trick. So we have the prime meridian that's splitting the hemispheres in half, the western and the eastern hemispheres. But what is that little red line that's going the opposite way of the prime meridian? James? The equator. And then 15 is which hemisphere? What is that pointing to? Toby? Very good. Very, very good. So we have two imaginary lines dividing our hemispheres in half. The equator is dividing our globe in half, north and south. The prime meridian is dividing what? If the equator is doing north and south, what is the prime meridian dividing into? What hemispheres? Jonathan?
West and east.
Yes. Very good. All right. That concludes social studies. We are going to put everything